to the beginning for a second, and we can walk our way through, because the first thing you said, well, just kind of blew my mind. You know, a rogue organization, military in nature, probably with corporate entities, is putting these things in the air to create distrust, to create a little bit of panic for some reason we don't know. And you personally talked to a kind of, you'd call him a whistleblower, right? Who within 30 days, if this is a movie, because it feels like a science fiction movie, obviously it's real.
Yeah, it does.
But that would seem like that gentleman's life he should be very careful. And also, within 30 days, this will be in a congressional hearing, or just go to the media?
God, no. Let me tell you how this is going to happen.
Videos or people?
Yes. He's releasing. Now, remember, he's been operational about 15 months ago. He took me in his helicopter over these classified sites and exactly over the opening of one of the underground bases. I have that footage. We have it. I provided it to the Senate Intelligence Committee pretty quickly. About 3 weeks later, I was almost killed in a terrible accident and have since recovered. But no, this is deadly serious stuff. And and of course, he and his whole family are at tremendous risk. They know the risk, but these are big boys. I mean, they're very way up there with special operations. They've all been either Green Beret, Delta Force, those guys. And so, you know, these are not just your corporate shills, right? Dancing around in penny loafers and three-piece suits. So, so they know what they're doing. Part of these secret UFO programs, but they are all special forces guys that have been asked to be part of an operation to take down these illegal sites and neutralize those weapon systems. Now, I've been providing that team with intelligence and briefings for about 20 months. These are mostly Green Berets that have separated from the military and who are preparing to go active. Now, what we're hoping is that doesn't have to happen, at least not in a kinetic or violent way, but that there will be enough people defecting from those operations that they're rendered non-operational. I wouldn't bet the planet on it. So I think it's very important, whoever is the president when this comes out, and I'm told it'll happen sometime between now and early January. So to me, early January means before the 15th. So that could be Biden, and it could be no one will deal with it until sometime after, because they'll have to get their sea legs on. I'm heading out tomorrow to go to some meetings with some people who are very close to the incoming president. By the way, to be on the record, I've dealt with any president, left, right, center, in their administration for 30 years. I'm not partisan at all. But if it's the office of the president, right, that we have to look at, and the Constitution and the government and our freedom. Right. So I just want people to be very clear, whether it was Clinton or now it's Trump, or at a time when Obama had John Podesta, who put his cabinet together, was working on trying to find out what this was. You know, across the board, I've just worked with them. And same thing overseas. I mean, my job, and also, just to be clear, I'm just a private doctor who did this because I found out about it and started this whole disclosure project operation back in the 90s, but I have no official position with any government at all. And I've never wanted one, frankly. I mean, it would put shackles on us, because right now we have 7, if you go to we just put about 34 years of research online. It's called the DPI Archive, Disclosure Project Intelligence Archive.com. So DPIarchive.com, and you'll see at DPIarchive.com an unbelievable amount of content. We're talking 115 or so named whistleblower witnesses, name, rank, serial number, testimony, the list of another 600 plus whose names are redacted because they don't want to be out in the public yet, that I have debriefed, thousands of pages of government documents, about 122 documented cases of our downing crashed extraterrestrial vehicles, and in some cases man-made ones that look ET, and many of those have named witnesses attached to them, and they're illustrated by a forensic artist. So you see what they look like, you see what the little the ETs look like, of different sizes. I mean, some are tiny and some are bigger than we are, but there's a whole different variety of species. So
or drstevengreer.com.
I put that online in advance of this on purpose, to be honest with you. I knew this was coming, and a couple of years ago, I created a crash effort to digitize my archiving. And the parts of it I can put out. Much of it's redacted, obviously, people's names and methods and things that are sensitive, but I'd say 90% of it's out there for anyone who wants to look through it. It's free. Get on board.
So, and going full circle to the public just for a second again. So, Biden said today, and another person used this word. There's nothing nefarious. Nothing nefarious about this. So, should people be frightened? I mean, it seems like some of these are heavy objects.
Well, they have to say
right
that,
over someone's house. So, why wouldn't you be a little anxious to have a big drone on top of your house? They can crash. You know.
Well, they have, and that gets hushed up. But I'll tell you, part of the problem is I'm sort of the leading indicator putting this information out, and some people that I had that I had been on their shows 3, 4, 5 years ago and say, God, everything he said then is happening, and it's because I've had knowledge of this for a long time. Yeah. Now, if you're the president or you're in charge of the National Security Advisor, National Security Council, you don't want to induce panic, and you don't want people to be freaking out. And in fact, that plays to the purpose of this cabal of criminals and sociopaths who are doing it. And the other problem is that if there's an unverified report